for lunch?
Clam chowder.
Okay,
Oh,
we are live. We are live.
okay.
Okay, so thank you so much. We are here. It is February 10th. This is the meeting of the Senate Rules Committee. And we are just going to have a brief meeting this morning to check in about our plans on the Senate side about possible return to the State House. And so we did discuss this with some committee chairs the other day, as well as the majority and minority leaders. And the consensus was that the Senate should continue to work remotely until after the town meeting break. And so that's town meetings early this year. It's the first week in March. And the thought was to give people that anticipated time of return, give them an opportunity to put things in place. But I wanted to, hear from the committee about the issues that we should be thinking about as we plan for this and put things in place for a smooth return. So I would love to hear from the group. Sure, Allison, jump in.
Okay, I will jump in. I think one of the concerns, I think it's great. We're coming back March 8th. I think that is terrific and gives what I think there are some outstanding things to chat about at some point, which is the hybrid nature of how we'll be able to return if there is, if a class does get sent home, if a senator can't be.
Did you say a class?
What?
Committee?
If class does get sent home.
Yes, well, if a senator who's a parent has a class. I meant the few senators that have children still in the school system.
Now I get you, Allison. Yes, I am definitely in that situation.
I know you. I'm speaking about you.
Got it.
But
Thank
also,
you.
I think that's an outstanding issue is how we decide we want to do the floor and our committee hybrids.
Yep.
In case of need. And the second is, I think we also need to continue to discuss, the Senate has decided that visitors to the public coming into their committees will have to be vaccinated and or masked. And I think we need to discuss that about the whole building is what the standard is. And I think it's an ongoing concern for senators.
So potentially needing to take that up with the Joint Rules Committee. And so, but here's a question, Secretary Bloomer. It may be a thorny one, but I'm curious, would Senate rules have the authority to decide who was coming into our committee rooms? If Joint Rules did not agree with our desire to have only vaccinated or tested people in the building, could that be something that Senate rules decides apart from Joint Rules?
I think the answer is yes. I mean, the committees, once they're Senate committee rooms, the Senate controls those rooms and who gets access and who doesn't.
Okay, that is helpful to know. Thank you, John. Other questions or things that we should be thinking about in preparing over the next few weeks for this? Or
So
even
for us to go back in person, we'd have to give everyone at least a 2-week notice, right? I mean, I think that would be fair, at least minimum. So we would, if we stay remote right now, right through town meeting, would we make that decision town meeting week or the week before, or?
I think, yeah, that's a great question, Senator. I think that we should plan on having a meeting the week before the town meeting break to make sure the numbers are continuing to decline. Yes, so I'll make a note of that. So meeting before the break so that people know what the expectation is for after the break.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for that clarification. Senator Hooker.
Thank you. I'm just wondering about once we do get back and we're in the chamber, what do we do about our technology? The use of iPads and the like. I mean, traditionally we haven't had technology in the chamber. What's that going to look like once we go back?
So there's multiple, I think, questions tucked into that. There's the, if we as a rules committee decide if there are extenuating circumstances, and a senator was not able to attend, we'll have to, decide. I think the last that I heard from, a consensus from the Senate was the assumption was people would need to be in person to vote on the floor. But again, we'll have to discuss that. And so in terms of the use of technology in the chamber, if everyone needed to be in person, I think we would revert back to our traditional Senate rules, which is not using computers or phones or iPads within the chamber. But John, that would be something that we as a Senate Rules Committee would need to decide, correct?
That's correct. We've, and I guess the short answer is if you are planning to allow electronics on the floor, the sooner you let us know, the better, because IT and our staff has set it up so you are not having things on the floor. And so it'll make a big difference in how it's got to be done and what the strains on IT will be. It has to do with feedbacks and microphones and counting. And so we have currently been setting it up so when you come back, there'll be generally 3 cameras. Once again, they'll be much bigger than the small ones you see now. There'll be at least 2 in the chamber and 1 on the presiding officer. And we have we're making plans in case for some reason the Rules Committee will permit people who have been quarantined to participate remotely. We have some ideas on how to make that work. It would be a bit different than what you have now with everybody on the screen, but we're working on plans so that people may participate if this committee decides that they can, or the Senate as a whole decides they can.
Thank you. That's helpful. Senator Mazza, you have a question?
One of the advantages we've had now is that, like this morning, I had 6 or 7 people testify, and it was easy because they don't have to worry about facing anybody. You don't have to separate anybody. It's working really well. I mean, I know the consensus of maybe the majority of people want to hurry up and go back, but it is giving people the ability to testify and not have to worry about how many could come in a room, 2
Right.
at a time or whatever. So that's one of the advantages.
Yes, Secretary Bloomer.
Just so you'll know, I mean, the committee rooms, IT's done a pretty good job. They are set up like the House committee rooms. And so you can have real hybrids if that's what you decide, or you can have all your members be present and have witnesses remote. If you limit people in the room, you can still be broadcasting them. We have been trying to get you as much flexibility as possible, which would also, if the committee decides that some members can be remote, that would be there too. But the overall setup is similar to what some of the House committee meetings are running. There'll be 1 camera that does multiple angles. Transportation's all set up with screens. And if you decided that you wanted to have people be able to do remote participation, we will have that ability there for you.
Anybody told you how smart you are, John, yet lately, or no?
Senator, thank you.
Wonderful.
And how much we appreciate him.
Yeah, I think you ought to get a raise myself. But you and Vanessa.
Okay, on the record, we so noted. Any other concerns, questions, issues for me to gather information on? Okay, and I don't know if I said it at the top of the Zoom, but I should have said the minority leader was not able to attend the meeting, but we did have a conversation about what we would be discussing. We offered to move the meeting time, and he said, no, that's fine, go ahead. I know what the meeting is going to be about, and he knew we weren't going to be voting on anything. It was just an informational meeting, and so he was comfortable with that.
So our understanding is at the moment, if things continue to decline, the Senate is aiming to be back in person on the 8th of March.
Exactly. But we will make a declarative, decision that week before the break. And I think we should do it earlier in the week.
Great.
That sound good?
Okay,
Terrific.
great.
All right. Well, I will give you back the balance of the time before I will see you on the floor
In a few minutes.
yeah, exactly, at 1 o'clock.
Thank you.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.